And Ms. Henderson, if you would kindly provide Metro 3 with a 10-second countdown. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hurd, upon sharing the agenda, I have kind of lost my view ability. I can only see 4 colleagues kind of in the box, so I've lost that kind of side-by-side view.
Okay.
Can you assist me in that regard as to functionality?
So for the participant view list?
Correct. So when I went to share the preview screen, now I just see a small.
Yeah, that's what that is the participant view list. That's as big as it gets on the Mac.
Okie dokes.
I'll be here to assist you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. With that, then we'll be counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Public Works Committee meeting. It's Monday, June 1st. And let's see, I will now call the roll. And I am scrolling through. And I guess if you can just unmute and state present, please. Councilwoman Allen.
Present.
Councilwoman Benedict.
Present.
Councilman Bradford.
Present.
Councilwoman Evans.
Present.
Thank you. Council Lady Gamble.
Present.
Councilman Hall. Councilman Hall, are you present? Councilman Hall, is that you? Okay. Council Lady Hurd.
Present.
Thank you. Councilman Nash.
Present.
Councilman O'Connell.
Present.
Councilman Roten.
Present.
And Vice Chair Young, I see you there.
Present.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Your agenda, colleagues, shows a motion. Vice Chair, could you make the motion on our agenda there?
I can. Pursuant to Governor Lee's Executive Order number 16 regarding electronic meetings as extended by Executive Order number 34, I make a motion that this committee meeting agenda constitutes essential business of the Metropolitan Council and that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. We will move into our brief chair report. And I wanted to bring y'all's attention particular to the areas of public works in our operating budget and encourage you all to, if you've not yet, listen to the hearing for Public Works, as well as any of the follow-up questions that Ms. Calder and Mr. Kyle have put online, particular to Public Works. And then I would ask our wish list for items particular to the operating budget is coming up, that deadline. I think I understood, Mr. Cooper, I was listening in on budget and finance. Is that deadline now on Wednesday rather than Tuesday?
It is Wednesday at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. And an email will be coming out from Maria this evening noting that extension.
Okay, I appreciate that. So, and the request then is to send those to Ms. Calder, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then colleagues, I would just ask if you do have any wish list items particular to the operations of Public Works, please bring me into that loop via Ms. Calder so that we can all kind of get on the same page if you have any suggestions in that regard. So that is this Wednesday at 3 p.m. Likewise, our capital improvements budget, as you all know, the Public Works Department is charged often, especially in our streetscape area, whether sidewalks, intersection improvements, and so forth, with delivering on those items that get moved from our capital improvements budget to our annual capital spending plan. We have endeavored over the last few years to have more transparency and accountability in our capital spending plan, having more discrete buckets in capital spending for traffic calming, sidewalks, bikeways, having those specifically called out. And so, capital improvements budget goes before and will be re-referred to after the public hearing to Budget and Finance and Planning and Zoning. But it does, that capital spending plan and the projects in the capital improvement budget do have a large implication on Public Works. And so as we continue to work on process improvements and delivery of infrastructure, I would just bring y'all's attention to that process and encourage you to be engaged, appreciate Mr. Claxton at planning and, the objectivity and kind of decision matrix he has brought to that. So if anybody has any questions about capital improvement budget, I would just encourage you to, be informed and engaged in that as well. Okay, and then lastly, I guess kind of by way of segue into our staff reports, I did want to ask staff, Public Works, just as far as their cleanup and work related to the subsequent to the protest on Saturday. And so if staff can speak to that and their work and follow up to that by way of the Public Works staff report, that would be helpful. Is Ms. Stone on the line?
I am here.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. Can you please give us a Public Works staff report, please?
I can do that. I don't have much to report on today, but I will address what you asked me to talk about a little bit. Public Works crews did help clean up after the events of Saturday night. And we had crews out in the early morning hours of Sunday morning, just kind of clearing the public right-of-way, securing the public right-of-way, and making sure that it was safe and passable. I do know Metro Parks, is responsible for the park area, and so we worked in close collaboration with other Metro departments as well, but Public Works kind of specifically being responsible for the public right-of-way did participate in the cleanup there.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Stone. Can I ask as well, as we kind of move into spring, summer paving season, you and I had spoken about, and I've brought colleagues' attention to the fact that your Friday emails are starting to have updates about some of those projects. We had asked last council term, some of those paving terms are a little bit obscure about, what's actually happening in the roadway. You've kind of got a little definition section for that. But we had also talked about rather than just in the Friday general notice, council members being, in my view, it's necessary to be better informed about upcoming projects, when they're going to get, when the limit signage is going to be going up, when the project's going to be getting underway, what the anticipated timeline is, and kind of improving that communication, particular to the paving program. Can you share with me if you all have had any progress in that regard?
Yeah, I've spoken with our paving department, and we're working through kind of what a more formalized procedure would look like, treating paving projects a little bit more like our capital projects, where we're communicating with council members, affected residents, all of that in a more structured way.
Okay,
So I can give you more of an update on that at a future meeting. I will say also, our paving list is now on the Public Works website. And I'm going to send that link out to council members one more time, just as a reminder. But the spring, summer, and fall paving list is online right now. There will, where that has to change, and we have to be kind of fluid with projects as they come up. If we have an emergency and we have to do, one project rather than another. But for the most part, that's a pretty good guide for future projects and kind of what the priorities are. So I will send that out, and then, like I said, I'll give you an update at a future meeting about what the more formal process will look like.
Okay, we'll appreciate an update on that at next committee meeting. And can you refresh my recollection? Are projects then divided particular to distinctly spring, summer, fall, or is that just within that pavable season, they are just listed generally?
Yeah, the seasons are kind of more of a general guideline, and there are times when a spring project doesn't get done until fall, or a summer project doesn't get done until fall, or a fall project doesn't get done until spring of the next year because of weather and whatnot. But yeah, it does provide kind of a more general guide.
Okay, understood. And colleagues, I think, what's important for us to think about, and for us to, within our own districts and generally to be aware of is, you may have a striping treatment on your road that is, a decade old or more. You might have a street that is in the queue, as you know it, for traffic calming program, but maybe not coming up this year. And so as we try to address traffic calming a little bit more robustly and intently, I think it's important for council members, to have some forewarning about projects coming into their district in case you want to kind of engage in a conversation about, if the striping should remain as it is presently, or if there are opportunities to change that striping in a way that would have a traffic calming effect. And so Ms. Stone and I've discussed, and I've mentioned to Mr. Reed, that having a longer horizon, right, being able to think, okay, this is coming a year out, can help us kind of coordinate some of that a little bit better. So thank you for that, Ms. Stone. Okay. Alrighty, Mr. Honeysucker, are you present? And if so, do you have a report for the water department?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, council members. We have nothing new to report from Metro Water.
Okay, I appreciate that. Staff report always welcome, not required. Colleagues, if you do have any particular questions for the water department or stormwater, please do send those my way, and then we can pose those to Mr. Honeysucker in advance of our committee meeting so they can be included in a staff report if needed. Okay. With that, we do not have any guests joining us for this agenda, so we'll move right into our resolutions. RS 2020-347 O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson authorizes Fun Eats and Drinks LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment, a sign, at 408 Broadway. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Councilman O'Connell, I know signs on Broadway often get a fair amount of attention. can you share with the body and just the public the process that these aerial encroachments go through, especially within downtown, given the historic district? Can you just give us like a 30-second primer on that?
Yeah.
And if you're okay with this one, thank you.
Yep. The 90-second version of this is that, like any aerial encroachment, this goes through a mandatory referral process, but typically in downtown, if you are within the boundaries of the district, which is 3 contiguous historic preservation zoning overlays, as well as the downtown code, there are signage requirements. So this goes through a multiple departmental sign-off process. And in this case, this is basically for a reinvention of Bailey's. And I think that we have certainly seen questionable content on at least one sign. Some of us who have served for a minute or two, this one does not concern me in the least. Generally what I'm looking for are the safety and legal and generally conformance to the package of rules and regulations we have. And I don't expect this one to cause any issues. It's been through the mandatory referral process. I've been in touch with the applicant and I'm perfectly comfortable with it.
Okay, I appreciate that. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any against or abstentions? None against, no abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, we are moving on. All right, we have a letter from the sponsor on the next one. And as Mr. O'Connell has already kind of spoken to his process related to aerial encroachments in the area of downtown, I'm going to suggest that we take the next 2 aerial encroachments together. RS 2023-48 Sledge, Murphy and Henderson authorizes WeHo Flats LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 461 Humphrey Street. Again, letter to approve from Councilman Sledge. And then RS 2023-49 O'Connell, Murphy and Henderson authorizes 131 Second Avenue Partners LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 131 Second Avenue North. Is there any objection to taking these 2 matters together? Hearing none, can I have a motion for approval of 348 and 349?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any needing to abstain, any against? Okay, hearing none, you recommend approval. Okay, moving into bills on second reading. Okay, BL 2022-35, Mendez, Henderson, and others amends the Metro Code Section 2.62.040F and Metro Code Section 12.56.170 to increase special event permit fees. We've had some discussion about this, colleagues, and some good kind of back and forth and input on this, but I am going to make a motion with the administration support, to defer this bill to the second meeting in July, to allow some time to incorporate some stakeholder input and as well some good research and work that's been done by staff to amend or substitute this bill. So I would make an motion. Thank you. I appreciate the second. Are there any questions about this bill and deferring it to the second meeting in July? Okay. Hearing none, with a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Hearing none, we are moving on to BL 2020-296, O'Connell and Swope, provides for the designation of public property within specified areas of downtown Nashville as a temporary special event zone during the time period beginning at 9 o'clock p.m. on July 2nd, 2020, and ending at 11 o'clock p.m. on July 5th, 2020, relative to the use of these areas in conjunction with the 2020 July 4th celebration and related activities and events. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Council Lady Allen, is
Second.
there a second? Okay, any discussion? Councilman O'Connell, can you speak to this just briefly? I know some people might be surprised or concerned or not to see this related to the 4th of July. Can you just speak to it briefly?
I sure can. Thank you, Madam Chair. This one I coordinated with the CVC on, and we spoke about just, I think because fireworks are something that can easily be enjoyed at a distance, and also, in a time when we have had difficulty finding things to celebrate, and because Nashville has put together one of the most remarkable celebrations of our independence in the country, I said, for my part, I think this is actually reasonable. In fact, the special event zone will probably enable the event organizers to have better control over things like physical distancing. So, my hope would be that we are still able to have something that people can celebrate from the safety of their homes, or, in open spaces at appropriate distances. And, I say this for my part, supporting the initiative, that I would rather see Nashville be able to follow through in some form of fireworks display that can be enjoyed by the public than to cancel it wholesale. So that is how we got to the point of filing the bill, and that's the nature of my support for it.
I appreciate that. Are there any other questions or comments for the sponsor? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I am unable to see everyone's hand raising, so thank you. If you would just, if you have a comment, unmute yourself as Vice Chair Young has done. Thank you. You're recognized, Vice Chair.
Thank you. Just, I'm curious, do we know where the fireworks will be shot this year? Will that be any different from years past? Since, the gathering won't be all in place, or I don't know if Council Member O'Connell has some insight on that.
I don't have any special insight into that, Mr. Vice Chair. I think my expectation would be, because they generally keep the area around the stadium and the east bank of the river clear, that they would still use that site. I would guess too that they would probably do things like, close the Siegenthaler Bridge to pedestrian traffic to prevent congregation there, or, work out a security plan under the terms of this special event zone. But that is an assumption on my part. I do know that Andrea Arnold, representing the CVC, has worked on this some, and I'm sure we could get that question answered for tomorrow night.
Okay, Vice Chair, does that meet your question?
It does. It doesn't affect my vote. It was just more of I was curious. So thank you.
I'm happy to follow up to have that information available on the floor. And Madam Chair, between us, I'm sure we can get that effectively answered from members.
Okay. Does anybody else wish to be recognized with the question?
Madam Chair, this is Councilman Roten.
Yes, sir. You're recognized.
And I don't know this, and so Freddie might actually know. If everything progresses as is planned, will we be out from underneath any health orders on July 4th? I think we will, but does Freddie know?
Schedule-wise, it's unclear to me, Mr. Roten, that whether, do we exit fully from phase 4? I don't know, right? Or do we keep phase 4 sort of in, does the roadmap actually get us past a full order? It's not, I'm not 100% sure how that's going to play out. And, my guess is that some variation of the mask order will remain in effect for quite some time. But yeah, at this point, the trends are not seeming to go in a shockingly negative direction, even being in phase 2 of the roadmap. So I guess it's potentially possible that between weather, individual responsibility, and related orders, that we might be in a position to do that. I still think that, the biggest guidance so far is large gatherings and avoiding, super spreader scenarios when people are tightly packed together. And so I think we would still want to observe precautions, along those lines. But it is possible that some venues would, be in a position where, viewers could see the display from rooftops in or around downtown, that kind of thing.
Okay, I appreciate that. Colleagues, any other questions? We've got
Mr. O'Connell.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any abstentions or no votes? No's. Okay, seeing none, we're moving to the last item on our agenda. I think, does someone need to mute, please? Everybody would check their mute function. Got some background noise. Okay, so now we're at the last item on our agenda, BL 2020-297. Robertson Henderson abandons existing public water main easement and to accept a new fire hydrant assembly for property located at 5320 Centennial Boulevard. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, having a motion and a second. Any questions about this one? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any abstentions? All right, with that, do any other members of the Public Works Committee wish to be recognized with a matter particular to the Water Department or the Public Works Department?
Madam Chair, as Councilwoman Gamble, I do have a question in regards to the staff report from the Public Works, or maybe a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Wondering, thank you. Wondering if when they include the update about the paving projects that are going on this spring and summer, if they would also include any updates about paving projects that were supposed to happen last fall that didn't happen.
I appreciate that. So Ms. Stone, I guess to your point earlier, I think we recognize, depending on weather, each season that's maybe there may be some that sort of fall out and get pushed to the next season, but making sure that communication includes projects that have been delayed from previous cycles. Does that meet your need, Councilwoman Gamble?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other colleagues wishing to be recognized?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is Councilman Bradford.
Thank you, Councilman. You're recognized.
Thank you. I just had a brief question / maybe comment from earlier when you were bringing up the capital improvements budget and capital spending plan. I'm just wondering if either you or someone from one of the departments could maybe explain briefly for those of us who are new to the council, plus those who are watching this on Metro Nashville, kind of explain what these two documents are and what the difference is between the two. Because I know some people think just because something's on the capital improvement budget, they think that it's been approved and built.
Right. I'm happy to do so. It definitely needs some explaining. I think even for those of us who have served on the council before, and I think as well for the public, by charter, our capital improvements budget is actually the planning document, and so the names are almost kind of inverted from what one might think. So the capital spending plan is the annual legislation that authorizes the appropriation of funds, whether debt or otherwise, for particular capital improvements. The capital improvements budget, though it has budget in the name, is really a planning document. And so nothing, nothing on the can be in the capital spending plan if it is not already in the capital improvements budget. And, as such, it has, hopefully met some thresholds as to its need on a variety of metrics, how many people it serves, access, and a variety of metrics. And so that is what kind of gets something into the capital improvements budget. There was some criticism about the capital improvements budget for many, many years in that it had become somewhat of a meaningless wish list. And so, council members, if they had constituents who would ask, well, I want a sidewalk here, or I want this, I want that, council members would say, well, we'll put it in the capital improvements budget. And it had gotten very thick and very long, and the projects kind of needed to be vetted on certain kind of objective metrics. And so that was a process that was undertaken last term, and that list has gotten smaller. Hard to believe because it's still a very big document, but that has gotten somewhat smaller. And I think, though, too, I continue to struggle a little bit with our kind of small to medium size project delivery, that there are projects that don't seem to quite meet the threshold of a capital improvement to be listed singularly, but that, it's kind of in a bucket, say, for like traffic calming or something like that. So I think we still have work to do in managing programmatically some of our smaller capital improvements, small to medium size, like our safe crossings, traffic calming, and working some of those more programmatically. They're not things that I think necessarily rise to the level of inclusion in the capital improvements budget, but I think there's something that all council members kind of have top of mind. They know probably 4 or 5 places in their district where a crosswalk would be very welcome and provide safety and access for folks. So that just sort of speaks to it generally. Mr. Cooper, is there anything that I have just left out kind of legally from the standpoint of the charter and otherwise you think it's worthwhile to mention for the public's understanding and other colleagues?
No, ma'am. I think you addressed it. The easiest analogy is to think of the capital improvements budget as the menu and the capital spending plan as what you eat.
Yep, what you actually order. Okay. Councilman Bradford, does that meet your needs and concerns by way of explanation?
It does, Madam Chair, and I definitely appreciate you taking the time to address.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Okay, colleagues, again, please remember if you have any wish list items particular to the Public Works operation budget, please get those to Ms. Calder and ask her to let me know about those as well. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.org.